Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm here at Apex 2016 and I'm joined by Tom Forsythe from Kyzen. Tom, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Last time we chatted, we were talking about stencil cleaning, and you seem to be kind of blazing a bit of a trail there. What progress have you made in that area?
Quite a bit. As we looked at it, and we tried to develop some new approaches to really understand the challenges. Obviously, we always focus on what's the print and how that goes, but we backed it up a step and said, all right, let's really scrutinize the stencil. So we used some great new camera technology that's available to all of us here and there, and did two things. One is we first analyzed lift and looked at to make sure we're getting a good print, or are we in fact pulling the solder up with it. And secondly, scrutinizing the apertures to take a look and look for residues, balls in the corners, this sort of thing. And then correlating that with evaluating both existing and new technology to see whether those negative situations could be impacted and improved. The old picture's worth 1,000 words kind of thing. And really fascinating that while it's not Oscar-winning video by any means, it's pretty cool because you can really see the difference. We evaluated the usual sequencing. Is it just dry wipe? Is it a wet wipe and a dry in the vacuum and that sort of thing? And there's some pretty good evidence that as with most things, a little cleaning goes a long way to improving life. And so we've actually got some things in our booth where you can come in and see some of that video and kind of check it out. So pretty cool.
And are you using that as educational material as well to kind of teach people how to clean?
Absolutely. It's first off, it's why, especially on the printer, we're trying to get maximum throughput, as everyone knows, and taking a momentary pause for cleaning is perceived as a bad thing, right? And if it's a moment and a half, that's a worse thing. But by seeing what the payoff is, and wow, look at this! Look at the improvement I'm going to get on my prints. So what does that really do? That really drives yield, and yield, of course, is free money, right? So zero cost because it's all burdened in. So it is a great deal of it's educational for people to understand, as well as to see, well, gee, here's the defect I'm seeing on my boards, and I've never been able to figure that out. And they come and look at the movie and go, well, geez, that must be what's happening. I bet that, what if I just, take that, what if I do a wet clean instead of just a dry clean? What if I, instead of do every 20 prints, what if I do it every 17 or something like that? Can I see that tangible difference? And then perhaps measure it and know what to look for to check for it.
And do you get involved in, and obviously it is this compromise between speed and cleanliness, do you get involved in being asked to accelerate the cleaning process? How can that be done quicker, or how can it be done less often, I guess?
Constantly. And it really depends on, in the printing area, of course, there's really two, right? On screen, on the printer, where you're just trying to get as many prints in between, and part of that comes down to the nature of the process and the assembly and whatnot, but it's also how effective the cleaning is. If you really get everything spick and span clean, well, then you're probably going to be able to stretch it a little bit more. And the other point is, if your on-screen cleaning, on the printer cleaning is very effective, well, that extends when you actually have to pull something off for the true thorough clean. Now, the same operational tempo issues absolutely affect the more the product cleaning rather than the stencil cleaning, where people are always looking for choke points to optimize in their process. So, gee, if it takes 30 seconds to clean, can we do it in 25? That's a daily life thing. That's not even interesting. That's just how it always goes. And it's a constant program of how do we do it. That's the new technology needs to be 2 out of 3 of better, cheaper, and faster, right? And part of that faster is certainly shorter cycle times.
And are you able to actually measure when you should clean, or actually create some feedback?
That's what we're working
data's
on.
part of it.
Exactly, and that's what we're working on the printer side. Is this isn't an area that's really been exhaustively studied by anyone over the years. It's people kind of forget about it. And we're learning a lot every day, and now we're trying to put some of that together. How do we standardize this? How do we come up with some techniques that people could use to mimic on their shop floor and say, all right, well, if I measure something like this, how can I get there? And we're not quite there yet, but that's where we're headed, to see if we can come up with some things that are really actionable by the customer on a day-to-day basis. That's not a project or rocket science. And with little luck, we'll get there. But it's interesting, some of it is exactly what you'd expect to see, and then there's the scratch your head stuff that's like, wow, that's not I wonder why that's happening. Let's put a little science. As I don't know whether you watched that movie The Martian, right? When the guy was there and he was trapped, and what did he say? You know, I got to science the heck out of this thing, or I'm not going to live. Well, it's kind of the same thing. We want to bring science to this area and really make it go.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And last question, what else is new on the booth this week?
We're also promoting a new remote access technology for our long-standing process control systems. We've been marketing those for many, many years. Big customers use them to control their wash tank in their bigger systems very successfully in the era of remote access to do everything. We've said, well, gee, can't we get all that information onto a screen that's not standing next to the tool itself? And that's what we've done. It's remote access to either the desktop or to a screen of some kind, your phone or whatnot, where you can monitor all the parameters, look at the data, review any alarms that might have gone off as to why, instead of scrambling down to the machine. Real creature comfort for the engineers involved. It doesn't take long for them to figure out that there's an attractive benefit there, as well as just getting more into the groove of how we deliver information to our customers.
Yeah, so more IOM in the cleaning environment.
Great stuff.
Good stuff. Well, Tom, thanks for stopping by. Good to chat, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.